Kakadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing now with Siman Resh Petet in the Shulchan Aruch, which has to do with the Kiddush and the Seudah on Shabbat in the morning. So the Shulchan Aruch brings down that the table should be set before you come home from the Bet HaKnesset, as it's brought down just to do with Leil Shabbat, which means just like on Friday night, on the night of Shabbat when you come home, the table should be set, and therefore you're immediately going to start the Kiddush, right? So too, it's going to be on Shabbat morning. I will bring down something actually very interesting. There was a minhag in certain places of Morocco that during the summertime, they would say the full Kabbalat Shabbat. And during the winter time, they would actually skip out the majority of the Kabbalat Shabbat. They would start with Mizmor LeDavid and then continue from Mizmor LeDavid. I once asked my Rabbi Sayag what was the reason why. And he told me the reason, and we actually just learned it yesterday, right, to do with the halachot of the Kiddush on Friday night. The reason why he said is because we know that there's two malachim that they accompany us on Friday night. One of them is good malach, and one of them is the negative malach, right? The good one and the bad one. The bad one is samech mem. He says during the hours, the first hour is from the good one, the second hour is mazal ma'adim, which is going to be the negative malach. And therefore he said, during the summertime, we pray early. And since we pray early, we're doing Kiddush before nightfall. And since we're doing Kiddush before nightfall, so therefore we say the full Kabbalat Shabbat and there's no problem. During the winter time, we're usually saying it late. We're doing it by Shekiyah. And therefore, right, if you're going to do the full Kabbalat Shabbat, right, so what happens is that what's going to happen is you're going to start saying Kiddush too late. It's already going to be during the time of Ma'adim, and therefore it's going to be something negative. So therefore, because of that, they actually always used to do Shira Shirim before Mincha, and then they used to do Mincha, but again, they would do very short Kabbalat Shabbat. So immediately it was the Kabbalat Shabbat, which is basically Mizmor LeDavid. You would have B'mem Malikin Lecha Dodi, Mizmor Shirim Shabbat Hashem Malach, and that's it, and Arvit, and you would continue going, just like some of the Edot Mizrach do, and they would do that during the winter time in order to do it early. But now again, when you come home, doesn't matter when it is, whether it's going to be the winter time or the summertime, right? Maran brings down Yikadesh Miyad, you have to do Kiddush immediately, that's on the nighttime. Now here Maran is speaking about the morning, which is Siman Resh Petet, and he's going to say the exact same thing. The table should be set in order that you should do it immediately in the morning. So he says you should have, right, the tablecloth, and you should have the bread, and then you're going to cover the bread. Again, we're covering the bread on the top and on the bottom. There's many different reasons for that, whether it's because of Zechel Aman. The man had a Shichvat Tal on the top and the bottom. He says you had on the bottom, there was also something covering the bread and also on the top. And this is going to be called Kiddusha Rabbah. What exactly is this? So first of all, right, the Gemara Masechet Pesachim says, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekadesho. What does it mean? You have to remember the day of the Shabbat to sanctify it. So there it says, Zochreu ala yayin b'knisato. You have to remember Shabbat on wine. When you bring in the Shabbat, you're going to mention the Shabbat on the wine. Now this is only going to be during the daytime. How do you know during during the nighttime? How do you know about the daytime? So the daytime you just say Borei Pri Gefen. So according to a lot of the Rishonim, the morning Kiddush is only midrabanan. And it's going to be an ismachta, which means that they bring it to a pasuk, which means the night kiddush is doraita, but the morning kiddush is only going to be the rabbanan. Now, there's many different reasons why exactly did they institute, right, the kiddush in the morning. Because if right now you're going to tell me that you don't need to do kiddush in the morning, so why do we have to do the kiddush? But there's a few different reasons. One of the reasons is in order not to differentiate between nighttime and daytime. They wanted to make it that people should pay attention, and therefore it's going to be very holy, so therefore they also make Kiddush during the daytime. But if you realize what is a Kiddush during the daytime, Borei Pri Gefen. Everything else that you add, whether it's going to be Tashim Shabbat Raglecha, Veshamru B'nei Yisrael Tashbat, that's not the Ikara Kiddush. The Ikara Kiddush is Borei Pri Gefen. There's no other beracha. Now, why is it called Kiddusha Rabbah? So, which means Kiddusha Gadol, the big Kiddush, right? It's the exact opposite. The big Kiddush should be on Friday night, right? The Shabbat morning, right? It technically means doraita. You don't even need to do a kiddush. So why is that called a kiddusha gadol? So here, sometimes it's brought down in some of the Rishonim. It was lashon sagi nahor. What does that mean? The exact opposite. Since it was the small kiddush, we didn't want to call it the small kiddush, right? Because it's only Borei Pri Gefen. So therefore they come and they say that what? That it's called Kiddush Gadol, even though we know that really it's not Gadol. It's the exact opposite of Gadol. It's the exact opposite of big, but we didn't want to say it. It's a small Kiddush, so therefore we call it the big Kiddush, right? And that is going to be one of the reasons why it's called Kiddush Rabbah. Another reason why it's called Kiddush Gadol, Kiddush Rabbah, is because Borei Pri Gefen is said in every Kiddush. Any type of a Kiddusha you're going to do, whether it's going to be on Brit Milah, whether it's going to be Sheva Brachot, whether it's going to be on Friday night, Havdalah, any time, right? It doesn't matter what Kiddusha you're going to do, you're always going to say Borei Pri Gefen. So therefore, since you're always going to say Borei Pri Gefen, so therefore that's why it's called Kiddusha Gadol, because this Kiddusha, Borei Pri Gefen, is a blessing which is said in any type of a Kiddusha you have. And therefore that's another reason why it's called Kiddush, right? Kiddush Rabbah, Kiddusha Gadol. So therefore again, we have the two different the contrast between the Friday night and the Shabbat morning. First of all, whether it's going to be Doraita or not, and if it's going to be also, right, the entire concept, what is it called? So Kiddush Gadol is Shabbat morning. But we do it just like we do it in the nighttime. That's why also in the morning, right, you could have, it's much easier to do it on Chaman Medina, whether it's going to be on beer and other things. On the nighttime, it's Doraita. It's not that simple that you could start, coming and start doing other things, especially if you have the wine, right, it doesn't exist. You have to do it on the wine, right, and that's it. So therefore, again, these are the just different halachot, but you should be ready immediately in the morning, so that way you do Kiddush, and immediately you're going to start your meal on Shabbat morning.